here, Wicked Garage. Going to start another project on my coronavirus lockdown build. If you guys have been on the page, you've seen the front bumper, how it's been done. But I don't think the front end's quite done yet. So I went out and I bought a piece of flat stock. This was flat. I've already been fucking with it. Where'd this one come from? This one came from Blaine's Farm and Fleet. You can get these at Ace Hardware. You can get these at your Home Depot. All kinds of places you can get a piece of flat stock. I started out doing it with another hood, and then in doing it, I found that this was probably easier and probably made a superior product, as well as being cheaper. So I know Dan and Alan are going to be like, what the fuck, man? But this is basically what we're going to do. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to play with this a little bit, but we're going to put it, basically we're going to do this and weld it on. I'm going to cut it down the middle so it'll be a little easier because it kind of has a bow to it here, or the hood has a little bit of an angle to it, so I'm going to have to play with that to get that. But I'm going to cut it down the middle. I'm going to make it so that it stops right about where that split on the headlight is, where it comes out. Then I'm going to figure out my angle for it, because I really want it, I want that angle to kind of just barely hit that. I think that'll work out the best. And by doing that, I can use what's left over down here. So right now, I'm going, like I said, I'm going to cut this in half. Then I'll fit it up here. I'm going to play and try to get my bend a little better so I can get that. And then I'm probably going to have to come back and kind of grind this down a little bit to get that angle of the hood, because it's not perfectly flat. It has a roll or that kind of curve to it. So I'm going to do that real quick. I'm not going to bore you with sitting here watching me with a grinder. I'll get back to you guys in a few minutes. All right. So I went ahead and pulled the bumper off. Reason being, I tried something out, and it seems to have done exactly what I wanted. The biggest problem, and this is why I always tell everybody I need the car to make this, okay? Your headlights, depending on your fitment, is going to be an issue. If this car's been hit in any way, which this particular one was, it was hit by a deer over here, you're going to have some issues with fitment, okay? One side may be pushed back, one side not. I had the same problem with railing box when I was doing my headlights when I did that. You need the vehicle to be able to do this, and that was a nice thing, because I know when I did Alan's, he ended up taking a nice set of JDM headlights and scratching the shit out of them because he was using it and we hadn't quite finished off the back of it. So you've got to be careful, because you don't want too much movement over your headlight, because it's going to screw them up. So what I did was this. I pulled it loose. Of course, I tightened my hood down, closed the hood. And this is something, Dan, I know on yours, your hood hits here and it kind of pushes your hood up. This is something you might want to try if you haven't addressed it. I pulled the headlight loose and took all the tabs here. It doesn't really do as much on the bottom, so you don't necessarily have to do it, but I got it just by doing the tops. I took my drill and I freaking put it in there, and since it's plastic nylon, just pulled, elongated the freaking holes, and was able to push the headlight back. Now this is nice because it sucks it back in here and makes it look a lot tighter here too, which is a better gap than what they had. So that worked out really well. Like I said, the bottoms don't really seem to do anything. I could probably get in here and notch this and bring it back. This is also going to bring your hood back a little bit. Or not your hood, I'm sorry, your grill. Not an issue with me because I'm building my grill, but that's another clearance thing. So, you know, that addresses that. It seems to fit really well. I'll let you know as we go to see if there's any problems or whatnot, because like I said, I'm just testing it on that. So, put the hood back down. Now, what I started was, I started to get my edge here. I've already kind of bent this around a little bit. I'm going to have to play with it. And you will have some, you know, when you get this tacked in, you can kind of move it a little bit. But since I'm trying to get my curvature of the hood to where I'm going to have to come and grind this out, I'm probably going to just start kind of just dishing it out a little bit until I get it to sit right. Then it should work pretty well, but I'll put it kind of here in the middle. But I've already started to bend it, and all I did was grab it with a pair of vice grips and put it up there. And I needed it to be tight here, so I put my foot down and tighten it with that. I'll show you when I do the other side. Actually, let's do it right now. So, here we go. I'm going to put it right up on my edge here. And I have to push this headlight back. See, this one is the reason I did that, because on this side, the headlight is sticking out. So this is actually pushing it out to where you would have the gap of the metal over the freaking hood, and we don't want that. So we're going to have to suck this side in too. But I know that right here on my very edge, I'm going to put my vice grip right there. And that starts me where I want. Now, you guys, you're saying, well, why don't you just do it off this one? Because I don't know if this side of the hood is exactly the same as this side of the hood. So I have to do this independently. This side has to do this. That side has to be for that. You're going to want to mark them so that you know which one's which. Because at some point, if you put them down in the wrong spot and you go to pick one up, you're going to be like, oh, what the fuck? So I'll continue on this after I suck the headlight back. I see that I'm probably going to have to get that headlight back to early till, but all my bending I'm doing with simple tools. I don't have a freaking metal brake. Just like Kalani. Kalani said the same thing. He ain't got it. He was showing us in the video. Well, he showed me in one of the videos. I think he did it in one of the ones you guys saw. Saying that he used part of the house to get that curve. There, it's pretty close. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna have to suck that in on that side to get Bill to tell. So let me do this real quick. I think I know where it was by now. This side, we're just going to do the top two. See if that works. Like I said, this is what, just as I'm going, I just did this by looking at the pictures and said, okay, this is what we're going to do. And I've adapted. This will be, I did Allen's was the first one, then I did Dan's, then I did railing boxes, which is a little different because I brought it all the way across. And now this will be my fourth. Now, snap the headlight loose. I always do that when the drill's all the way over here. All right. Hold that out. these tabs are really... I know a lot of you guys probably already know that. The hard way, just like I found out. Okay, so. I'm a professional, really. All right. So, let's push that all the way back as far as I can get it. I should really get the air tools out for doing this. Tighten that down. All right, now we're sucked down. Let's close the hood now. It still needs to go in. So, I'm going to go ahead and play with this. Oh, what the hell happened there? Looks like I cut that when I was cutting the bumper. I'm going to go and play with this a little bit more and get it to where I need it, and then I will fill you in the next video and let you know exactly what. All right. Took me about half an hour going back and forth with the benchtop grinder, but I pretty much got it. That's the wrong side. See what I said about marking them? Still got a little bit of a gap. Not nearly enough to worry about with a weld, but that'll do it. And I got my curve pretty good. The edges here are going to need a little bit of work, but I'll start welding in the middle and work my way around. So next thing, I'm going to grind off paint on the edge, and I'm going to start welding. Now, the tricky part is you pretty much got to do it with that headlight in there. So you're going to want to cover it up with something, but it's hard to do. You're going to have to be really careful with it. So once I get where I'm at, get this tacked in over here, I should be able to maybe pull that headlight out. We'll see. But we're going to want it to be as tight as possible. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and grind up the edges and clean that. I'm going to go get some lunch. I'm hungry. And then I'm going to weld.
When he was 6, didn't know any tricks. Matter of fact, first time he got on it, he slipped, landed on his hip and busted his lip. For a week he had to talk with a list like this. Now we can end the story right here, but shorty didn't quit. It was something in the air. Yeah, he said it was something so appealing. He couldn't fight the feeling, something about it. He knew he couldn't doubt it, couldn't understand it. Branded since the first kick flip he landed. Labeled a misfit, a bandit. Cocoon, cocoon, cocoon. His neighbors couldn't stand it, so he was banished to the park. Started in the morning, wouldn't stop after dark. Yeah, when they said it's getting late in here. So I'm sorry, young man, there's no skating here. And so we kick, push, kick, push, kick, push, kick, push, coast. And away he rolled, just a rebel to the world with no place to go. And so we kick, push, kick, push, kick, push, kick, push, coast. So come and skate with me, just a rebel looking for a place to be. So let's kick and push. a little more swagger in his style. Met his girlfriend, she was clapping in the crowd. Love is what was happening to him now. He said I would marry you, but I'm engaged to these aerials and varials, and I don't think this board is strong enough to carry two. She said, bow, I weigh 120 pounds. Now, let me make one thing clear. I don't need to ride yours, I got mine right here. So she took him to a spot he didn't know about. Some mall in apartment parking lot. She said, I don't normally take dates in here. Security came and said, I'm sorry, there's no skating here. And so they kick, push, kick, push, kick, push, kick, push, coast. And the way they roll, just lovers intertwined with no place to go. And so they kick, push, kick, push, kick, push, kick, push, coast. So come and skate with me, just a rebel, looking for a place to be. So let's kick, and push, yeah, yeah, and coast. Yeah, swanky, yeah, yeah. Before he knew he had a crew, there wasn't no punk, and they spit fire shirts and SB dunks. They would push till they couldn't skate no more. Office building lobbies wasn't safe no more, and it wasn't like they wasn't getting chased no more. Just the freedom was better than breathing, they said. An escape route they used to escape out when things got crazy. They needed to break out. They head to any place with stairs, any good grinds, the world was theirs. And they four wheels would take them there until the cops came and said, there's no skating here. And so they kick, push, kick, push, kick, push, kick, push, coast. And the way they roll, just rebels without a cause, with no place to go. And so they kick, push, kick, push, kick, push, kick, push, coast. So come roll with me, just a rebel, looking for a place to be. So let's kick, and push, yeah, yeah, and coast. Ha-ha, swanky.
Alright, so, still the same day. I had to go in and change because I realized I was working in good clothes. Got this whole side done. Went ahead, did the same thing on the other side. Okay, this side is a little closer. So I actually grabbed it with a pair of vice grips and pulled it out. I'm going to tell you what, your fitment ain't shit. Look at my fitment on my hood. It's like less than a 1/16 of an inch. Anyway, I got it all on there. It's going to take very minimal body work. Probably more body work in the dents and dings in the hood than I will on anything. Now, I just measured, and these are, I kind of eyeballed it off of where the seam, or the whatever you want to call it, relief, whatever, fucking where it raised up. I measured it off of that, okay? And I am about the same here as I am here. This is like 5 1/8. And this is a lot more. I don't know why. Does not make any sense because we're at about the same spot on each headlight. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fill the gap that we got on the end with the piece that we're going to cut off. So I went and got me some 1 3/4 tape. I'm going to put it right on the very edge because that's where we want it to end. And then I'm going to bring it down with a slight curve. Now, what does that do? All right. So my spot where it bends in, I should be right about there, and I could probably grind the backside or whatever to make it fit if it's really tight. Now we're going to cut that there. Take that piece off. Actually, yeah, it will. I'm going to do that. We'll come back over here. I'm going to do the same thing. And the reason I'm doing it to the end of the headlight is because you don't want it to go across your grill longer. It'll look better. The main reason we're doing this is for the eyes to look more evil, or the headlights. So then, just got to remember, to find your marker before you do anything. Put an arrow on it and point it down, because sometimes you get confused. Obviously this one's a little different. As James will attest, when I was cutting out pieces in the back, I did that and cut on the wrong line and bent my plate on the wrong end. So now I'll pop the hood open, cut those pieces off, flip them around, and then we'll fill in the gap. My head right in front. Alright, so I got it cut. Obviously, the angle's a little different, but it's perfect. I took it, smacked it with a hammer, got my curve a little bit, threw it up here with my magnets. Now, it's a weld around. So, I'm a better grinder than I'm a welder, but it'll stay. So now, I got it all set up. I'm going to put a little bit of hot slag in that headlight right there. It's a good thing it's getting covered up. Glad that we got the tape on there. Now, I'll go ahead and grind that, then I'll cut my edge, close the hood, and see what we got. This is what we got. So, everything's good, everything lines up. I had a little bit of hitting here when I closed it, which is funny because I was worried about this side. This side is freaking beautiful. I'm really happy with it. So on this one, I just grabbed it here with a vice grip, pried it out a little bit, and we're good. Doesn't hit anymore. Threw the bumper on here to get the look. and as well as the grill. I'm going to tell you right now, don't even think about buying the Duracraft grills. This thing is such a piece of shit, okay? I've already cut this thing. Right now, it won't even, the opening here won't fit between the things, so there's no way that this thing was ever going to fit this car. So I'm going to have to modify it a little bit. I've actually cut apart my factory grill to make this fit, and I'm going to have to do more work to it to get it to fit. It's actually hitting right on the airbag sensors, which I haven't modified that, so I don't know what the problem is. Well, I guess maybe the headlights are in a little bit, but it ain't enough that would be an issue. So, but even so, look at this. Okay, this is, you know, obviously mine's a little different, but your flat spot would be here, and this thing's going to stick out like that. That's freaking ridiculous. But I'm not going to get into all that griping and whatnot. But I wanted to show you the finished, well, some semi-finished product. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put some Bondo glass over the top of this to kind of hit on my edges. I always like to do my first layer in that. I won't need any of it up this way. I'll just feather my body filler into it. I'll probably grind this up a little bit more. I got a couple dents I'm going to fix, and should be fairly easy. And then hopefully I'm about done with body work other than this freaking grill. So that's that, and I'll show you guys. I'm sure you'll see pictures of it when it's painted, but it's really not that hard. Basically took me about 4 hours. Obviously I've done a few of them, and have some tools. You know, I did find that when I did my curve on this one, you know, I got the bend right, but it also gave, you know, I had to grind the edges down here. This side I did it with my benchtop grinder and 3-inch grinding disc. Took a little bit. This one I opted to do it with my cutoff wheel, and it seemed to go a lot easier that way. I basically put it up here, put my corner here, my corner where this one was here, put it up there, put a marker behind it, marked it, pulled it off, ground it down to that. It was a lot easier doing it that way than to sit here and walk back and forth and do that. So I would recommend doing that. Other than that, you know, like I said, with these headlights, it can be done. This is not hitting here at all. When I had my hitting issue, it was right here. Daniel and those guys, if you guys have any issues, I know Daniel had those nice kick-ass headlights built that had the raised piece on it, and it was an issue. So if he hasn't dealt with that now, he can suck them headlights in a little bit, and it should work fine. So, alright guys, I'll shut up and we'll come up with another project.